My name is Martin Sternberg. I'm a certified golf course superintendent and the CEO of Capillary Concrete, the world's leading bunker liner and construction method. Capillary Concrete is a patented product to build sports ground profiles. Here, we will cover the use and method to line and protect golf bunkers. Capillary Concrete is a specially formulated mixture of aggregate, our proprietary additives, and water that comes in a pre-mix delivered in a concrete truck. The product is a homogeneously blended mixture that is poured from the mixer into heavy-duty utility vehicles, transported to the bunker, placed inside the bunker at a minimum depth of 2 inches, 50 millimeters. The surface of the product is compacted with a roller and covered in plastic for a minimum of 24 hours to allow for adequate curing and until sand is placed on top of the product. The result is a strong, homogeneous and uniformly bonded bunker liner base that allows for rapid drainage of any storm and also reduces washouts or contamination of the bunker sand. Prior to installation of capillary concrete, the contractor, owner's representative or superintendent shall confirm that the perimeter area around the bunker does not channel excessive water into the bunker area. He's also going to control that the bunker subgrade is positively pitched, stable underfoot, smooth and compacted, free of debris, and that it meets the architect's design specifications. It must also be ensured that all bunker trenches have been excavated and constructed to specifications, and that drainage pipes and bedding gravel have been installed to the architect's drainage specifications as dictated by site conditions. At the lowest point of the bunker subgrade, a 2x2 wood frame at least 4 feet long and as wide as the trench must be placed prior to installing the capillary concrete. If the bunker floor is large and flat, several frames must be placed to ensure that any point of the bunker floor which is less than 6 inches above the lowest point is located no more than 6 feet away from a frame, which will create the drain bolts which we fill with bunker sand later. This is to ensure that the sand depth at the lowest point of the bunker is always enough to keep the sand dry at the surface. The Capillary Wash Box is an optional complementary product to capillary bunkers. If the Capillary Wash Box is installed, it's placed in the vault on top of the drain line. This patent-pending box is placed in the low point of the bunker on the drain line to allow for the bunker sand to be washed clean should there ever be any contamination from the outside of the bunker. That may be soil, dust, grass, etc. It has the ability to wash fine particles out of the sand and regulate the moisture level of the sand in each bunker location. Capillary concrete should not be installed when daily high temperatures are expected to be below 32 degrees Fahrenheit or below 28 degrees Fahrenheit within 2 days of installation. During hot weather, windy or low humidity conditions, the product will set up faster and caution must be exercised to maintain acceptable moisture levels of the mixture and the bunker base prior to installation. A light misting of the bunker subfloor might be required several times during the installation process. When the ready-mix truck arrives at the job site, you will need to ensure the correct consistency of the capillary concrete before installation can begin. Before discharging any mix, ask the driver to spin the truck 5 revolutions to adequately mix the product. It has been mixing since it left the plant, but we find this to be a good way to ensure mix uniformity. Now it's time to perform a hand squeeze test as shown here. Ask the driver to discharge a small amount of the capillary concrete mixture into the utility vehicle you're using to haul the mix to the bunker. It should be shiny and look like melted chocolate and rock. Take a handful of the mix and squeeze it in your hand and release. The paste must be creamy and sticky enough for the aggregate particles to adhere to the vertical surface of your hand. If the paste is dry and powdery, the mix is a little too dry and you need to ask the driver to add water to the mixer truck. Never add more than 1 gallon of water at a time unless otherwise instructed by an on-site capillary concrete representative. Check after and ask the driver to turn the drum a minimum of 15 revolutions before checking the mix again. Continue this process until the mix has the feel of melted chocolate. Be careful not to add too much water. It's always better to add a little at a time. We cannot take water out once it's been put in the mixer. The paste should never be drippy and runny when you perform the hand squeeze test. The mix should always have the consistency of melted chocolate. Continue to monitor the consistency as you install. You must perform the hand squeeze test occasionally to ensure consistency during the installation. An additional gallon of water may be required after a few loads have been installed. If so, ask the driver to add 1 gallon and rotate the drum 15 times before discharging more mix. If the mix is extremely wet and runny when the ready mix truck arrives, ask the driver to spin the drum for 5 minutes to try to dry up the mix a bit. If that doesn't work and the discharge pile for testing has clogged up void space, you should refuse the truck, send it back to the plant, and contact your capillary concrete representative immediately. Do not install capillary concrete if the mixture is too wet. If the subgrade is dry, it should be lightly misted prior to placement of capillary concrete. Do not let the floor get muddy during installation, and make sure the floor is always smoothed out before installation of capillary concrete. Never walk on the wet capillary concrete mix. Once the batch is properly mixed, begin in one corner of the bunker by spreading the mix to a depth of 2 inches, 50 millimeters. Use plastic bunker rakes or the aluminum placer tools to drag out and level the product. Do not walk on the product in the bunker. This will compress the product and restrict water flow. We want to preserve as much open space for water flow as possible. Use the textured roller or trowels to finish and lightly compact the surface. The entire surface of capillary concrete must be lightly compacted to provide a smooth surface and bond the product together. Keep the roller damp during the rolling process. It is important to work quickly during this step. The sooner the product is smooth and rolled and covered in plastic, the better. The edge of capillary concrete must be no less than 2 inches thick. A hand trowel should be used to compact and finish the edge of the material around the bunker edge. If desired, this is also the location of the drip line irrigation option. Care must be given to prevent loose aggregate pieces from adhering to the exposed soil edge. Any loose pieces should be removed immediately. Once an area or batch section has been finished, it must be covered immediately with a 6mm plastic. Black plastic is preferred on cold days. Clear plastic is preferred in the summer. Covering is important to reduce moisture loss and improve the curing process and the strength of the mixture. And covering must be performed in any weather. Place staples in the plastic every 3 feet around the perimeter of the bunker and as close to the mixture as possible to reduce air between the plastic and the mix. If there are seams between plastic pieces, use some heavy material to hold the seams down. Remember, we want to reduce the amount of air getting to the product as it cures. This step also keeps the debris and water from getting onto it during setup. The plastic cover must remain on product for a minimum of 24 hours, 48 hours in cold or wet conditions. Then, remain covered until bunker sand can be installed. This helps the product cure and will keep the product clean and debris free. Before installing the bunker sand, remove the plastic and clean the base of the bunker with a backpack blower to remove any loose surface pieces that may not have adhered during the rolling phase of the installation. Check the edge for loose pieces as well and remove them from the soil edge. Do not allow concrete to turn light gray in color. The product needs to stay hydrated before sand is applied. If not, you got to keep it covered. Now perform the drainage test to confirm that water rapidly drains through the product. This must be done to activate the performance guarantee. Do not blast high pressure water on the freshly installed capillary concrete. A shower spray is preferred over a steady stream. Bunker sand can now be installed to the required specified depth according to the soil moisture release curve. Do not drive directly on the new capillary concrete bunker during the sand installation. It is recommended to begin sand installation on an edge and push the sand out across the bunker using a sand rake or similar machine while keeping vehicles on plywood on top of the sand. Once the sand has been installed, saturate the sand with a spray nozzle so not to flood the sand to where fines can separate. This moisture will help the product continue to cure and help the sand firm up.